If you have a rental property, that should impact your early retirement in a positive way. That's less income that has to come from your portfolio, and you probably don't have Social Security yet. So you're like, hey, I kind of like having rental income. It makes it so that not everything's up to my portfolio so that I can live my life. Now, today is going to be more technical of an episode. I'm going to walk you through the real estate analysis that I go through with my clients. Some have 1 property, some have 10 properties. If you don't already know, my name is Taublieb. I'm a certified financial planner. I'm the host of the Early Retirement Podcast, and I'm the vice president at Root Financial Partners. If you're looking for more information on real estate, taxes, estate planning, overall insurance, I'm talking health, auto, home, umbrella, everything to make sure that you have a withdrawal strategy, meaning you know where to pull income from throughout retirement, and more, that's what I do on this channel, so I invite you to subscribe. I'm going to be using 2 tools today, and if you want access to both of them, you can go ahead and find that in the description of this episode. The first tool that I'm going to be going over, you can see on my screen right here. You can see me up in the corner here. I'll make myself smaller. This is something you need to make a copy of. It is only available inside of the Early Retirement Academy. So if you want access to that, you can go check that out in the Early Retirement Academy. Now you can see here, there's a lot of different things you can put in here. I'm just using my last name as an example, but if you bought a property for $775,000, you can see you can put all of the information in here. How many units? What's the square foot? When was it built? Vacancy, tax rates, property management costs. This is your one-stop shop to managing your rental property. Now, what I really care about is what is the cap rate. Now, this is what I'm going to go over with you in just a second. But if you want to say, oh my gosh, if you want to manage, should I say, all of your rental properties and go, hey, what is the return I'm getting? Like, is it worth having this? Should I just invest in a REIT instead? So truly passive real estate. How do I think through the financing and the depreciation and amortization and down payment if I were to switch anything? Like everything on real estate, you can go ahead and put inside of this sheet. So this is where I'll start, and then I'll connect that to what I call your portal. So this is your hub. Here's a couple right here. You can see they have $2 million in investments. They have a primary mortgage. They have an investment property, and there's a mortgage on that. You can see the values of their primary home and their investment property. So I will then connect whatever we build out to understand their in-depth real estate needs and the quality of their property, and connect that inside of their portal. So I will start anytime I have a real estate conversation with a analysis on what does total return mean. So I like to give this simple example. Let's assume you have $1 million in terms of value of your home, and the annual income that it provides, the rental income it's throwing off, is $100,000 a year. Awesome. $100,000 off $1 million property. That's a 10% cash flow return. Awesome. But we can't forget about property taxes and insurance, and when the roof leaks, and when the wash machine breaks, and if a property manager quits, and if there's vacancies. So if we back out that stuff, maybe you're actually only netting $60,000. Just an example. Well, $60,000 a year off $1 million property, that's a 6% cash flow. That's essentially a dividend. That is a 6% dividend you're receiving from your property. Awesome. But that's not it, because the company's also going to go up in value, or the real estate property will go up in value. Just like a stock that you hope goes up in value that pays you a dividend also, same thing in real estate. You're getting that rental income, that cash flow from the property, but it's also hopefully going up in value. So now you have 6% as the dividend off the just property you own, and maybe it also goes up in value by 3% appreciation. So 6% dividend, 3% appreciation, that's a 9% total return. So I like real estate. It has lots of tax benefits, but we also need to make sure we're being intentional here about going, wait a second. So if this property, hypothetically, was giving me a 9% total return, and I have to manage it, and the roof leaks, and the property manager might quit, and I'm going to retire, and I'm going to be traveling around the world, So I don't really know if I want to manage this. Well, what could we do if we were just in the stock market? Now, historically, the S&P 500 has done 10.5% per year on average. So if we knew we could get 10.5% every single year, not have to attend a single meeting, not have to worry about a roof that leaks or anything, well, it would be a no-brainer. It's like, why would we possibly own real estate, which has hassle? I call that an ROH, return on hassle. So if you had, for example, a real estate property with a cap rate, so a cap rate is saying what's the quality of the property, let's assume it was 15%. If it was 15%, I might go, hey client, right now your property has a 10% dividend and 5% appreciation for 15% total return. That's awesome. The stock market could do 10.5%. And this person might be like, all right, I like owning real estate. It's fun for me. So not only is it giving them a better return than the stock market, they like doing it. I'm like, perfect. Why on earth would you not do this? They're like, yeah, I just want to clarify. I go, cool. Other people go, no, I'm only getting 9%. I don't love doing it. I was just doing it because I thought it would be a good investment, but it's not even appreciating at 3%. And the turns out my vacancies are higher than I would expect, and my tenant doesn't pay on time, and I just don't want to deal with this anymore. Well, why on earth would you own real estate if you could go to the stock market and historically do better? Now, the difference with the stock market is it's going to have more fluctuations. It's less consistent. With real estate, if you have a tenant that's paying $2,500 every single month, you know you're going to get that check. With the stock market, there's way more ups and downs, but there's way less effort involved. So it's about weighing them, and oftentimes it's a combination of the two, or it's owning real estate passively. So something called a real estate investment trust, which is just a passive way of owning real estate. That's how I personally own my real estate inside of my investments, because I value my time and I don't want to worry about managing a property manager or roof leaking, or I just don't want to worry about it. So could I try to identify the optimal property and maybe hit it big? Yes, but that's like trying to identify the perfect stock and hope you hit that big. So that's why generally I'm not trying to just go out and pick the perfect property. Now, let me show you how this might connect if you want to understand the analysis for your plan. So this couple here, you can see they have $2 million. They're 59 years old. And right now, I talked to them about how much they'd love to spend in retirement and what they were on track for. So I was playing around with a few different things. But if I just put this back to the base case just for a second, what I want you to see here, this couple, I'm going to turn this off. Let's see if I can. Actually, I'm going to leave it on. I'll tell you why. So this couple right here, $2 million, 59 years old. They're on track for $20 million. The blue that says current. Now, the proposed is saying they're on track for $22 million. Well, why is that? Well, right off the bat, they wanted to ask me questions about real estate, and they have this property. And their real estate property, it has a mortgage, it brings in some income, but it's not great. So watch what happens if I told them, hey guys, what if you sold this investment property in 2030? You can see it would add more money. And the reason for that is because this property wouldn't generate as much as the stock market could generate. Now, let's assume I say, hey guys, what if you were to sell this next year? What would the impact of that be on their plan? And you see how there's more money? There's 3.3 million instead of, if you remember before, if I said, hey, go sell this in 2030, you're going to see the number decrease. And the number is going to decrease here, still significant, but it's decreasing because the earlier you sell an investment property that doesn't have a good return, the earlier that money can start working for you more efficiently. So sometimes the analysis for a client will go the opposite direction, meaning it's better they hold on to that investment property because it yields a greater return than the stock market would do. So you can learn right here about their property. It's worth $715,000. You can see here it brings in $3,100 a month in terms of just income. You can see they have a mortgage on it, and you can see that's $1,400 a month. So they're getting a good return, meaning they have let's go back here, $715,000 is the property value. They're getting $3,100 a month times 12. That's $37,200. And we want to ask ourselves, is that a good return? That's the question we're asking ourselves. Well, you can see, I'm just doing my little calculations here. They're getting a 5.2% cash flow or dividend. But wait, there's also property taxes and insurance and mortgage. So all in, the property's good, but it's probably total return and dividends, cap rate. So if we're adding it all, I know I just said a bunch of fancy things. If you just look at the dividend, which is 3 to 4%, and appreciation, which is 2 to 3%, their property's probably doing in the range of 6 to 8% in terms of just, hey, what's the actual return? And in the stock market, they could probably do better. So that's why the software will assume they should just go sell it. Now, I don't say just go sell it. We want to make sure we're considering everything, but this is just an example as how I would look at real estate. Won't go through every single thing here, but I encourage you, if you have real estate, to go in and put the taxes and the insurance and the property management and everything in here so that you can get a good sense as to how this works and connect it to your overall strategy. Hopefully this was helpful. Certainly, I know more of a technical episode, but real estate and rental properties, oftentimes I just don't find there's a lot of information on that lets you understand the impact on your plan. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, please like this video and share it for more information like this if you found this was helpful. Thanks, guys.